Students, this is your Mara ma'am. Okay, with the environmental issue, the same chapter we have continued with the topics. The two topics today, what I am leading with is agrochemical and their effects. Another one is radioactive waste. So I have shown the pictures here regarding what is agrochemical and their waste, how they are disposed, what is their causes. Of pollution, how they are meant to destroy the environment. So this all effects we will be learning in this video. Okay. Okay, coming to the first topic as such, that is agrochemical and their effects. So, agrochemical, the word agro means the waste of agriculture only. It is referred to be as agrochemicals. So, these are the chemicals which are being used in the agriculture, such as pesticides or fertilizers. So, fertilizers, they may come in the form of a dry also, or they may be of the liquid form also. Then the plant usually it will be fed with the required nutrients. So which are the required nutrients? As you know, the required nutrients of the plants is phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium for its growth. The same combinations only. With the same combination, we also get in a dry form and also in a liquid form. You should be knowing usually other nutrients such as zinc and iron. Okay, they are also included in this fertilizer so that it strengthens the plants. The fertilizers are available in two forms, which are those such as organic and also in inorganic compounds. So pesticides are used in plants for eliminating and also for preventing, or you would have been also studied why do we use pesticides to control the pest like slugs, insects, fungal disease, smuts, rots, mildews, and also snails. So this would have been studied in one of the chapter, that is microbes in human welfare also. We have dealt it with fertilizers, biofertilizers also. Then regarding pesticides, herbicides, all these things and all you have learned. In the environment, what is doing with that with this chapter means it also causes an pollution. So how it causes, I'll tell. So now let us understand how is this pesticides, what are these pesticides, how it is about used means already in detail we have studied in this chapter how it causes the effect to the pollution, that what we are dealing with for today's topic. Okay, pesticides are used, I told you. With along with the pesticides also, we also use such as insecticide, herbicides, fungicides to control the weeds. What are weeds? You know what are weeds means. Weeds means the unwanted plant in a wanted field only. We call it as a weed. Even rodent. To eradicate the rodents also, we use the pesticides. We also use the what do you tell, insecticides. Some of the rodent poisons also we use to eradicate them. So there has been a growth in the use of these chemical fertilizers, not of today's. It is a story of since from the 20th century. Especially, it should have been known during the last 50 years. This seems to be common phenomena in the whole world. In the whole world, usually when we are dependent upon the crops, means the farmers they have to have a good yield in their field. To save the crops, what do they do from the pest, from the insects, from the rodents? They go for the pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. All these are in the form of chemical. So directly or indirectly, we are also consuming a little bit of a chemical only. Apart from this, when these chemicals sticks into the soil, it will cause the soil pollution. When there is a heavy rain and there is a flow of the upper layer of the soil of the field or on a flood, so what happens? These chemicals flow into the water body. When it flows into the water body, it may causes biomagnification, eutrophication. Biomagnification and eutrophication, I told you the main effects of water pollution. So agriculture also means to be one of the cause for the biomagnification and also for the eutrophication. So that what we are trying to tell, how agrochemicals causes pollution. Okay, so here when the pesticides or these chemicals stick to the soil, there also you can find that is also soil will be biomagnified in the terrestrial ecosystem. So when the chemicals enters into the ecosystem, naturally we are also one of the organism in the ecosystem, and we are also eating the chemicals, right? So chemical fertilizers, I told you, they cause two main thing. One is biomagnification, another one is they cause the eutrophication. You should be knowing one thing, that is since from 1960 onwards they started using liquid fertilizer. Maybe you are newly hearing what is this liquid fertilizers mean. Liquid fertilizers means nothing but it is usually a mixture of a super phosphoric acid and potassium hydroxide. So this mixture will be in the form of a liquid, and this liquid will be sprayed on the plant system. So they tell liquid fertilizers became more popular because of its effect on the high crop production itself. So in some of the areas, or in some of the places of the world, they started using this liquid fertilizers because they started to having a high yield, that is high crop production were there, without taking a consideration of the possibility of the dangerous which may cause to the human being. See, some greedy farmers also are there. I don't tell everybody. They go for the only the yield and never think back. See, this is the chemicals I'm putting. These are the fertilizers I'm putting. Because of these chemicals, you may get a big vegetables, fruits, everything. But the chemicals retain in it, and it may cause disease in the human being. If such thing is thought, maybe we can save most of the life. But who will think? There are people to think also. There are people to who don't consider these dangerous things which may affect the environment also. So that's why in that chapter we have studied for we have to go for organic farming using bio fertilizers, which we have studied in the human welfare, that is microbes in human welfare. In that topic you have studied without the chemicals also how we can grow the crops by using the microorganisms. So that should be, if it is implemented, maybe these chemicals indulged will may become less. No, eating of chemicals also may become less in future. So that is the thing, that what these chapters are kept. Maybe future farmers are there, farmer children are there. So you are the people to save the earth. So every farmer are said to be the boon to the earth, because they grow the crops, and we like people are dependent on that. So whatever we earn, we shed for the food only. If the food is a poison, that does not mean anything. So that what, so whenever we think of talking about this agricultural as an occupation, agricultural effects, so these effects shouldn't be caused or more of chemicals or more of fertilizers with nature of poison shouldn't be used against the crops. More they should rely on the organic farming also. So that what is meant in this chapter. Okay. So next is the effect of agrochemical waste. See, this agrochemical waste only the till now I have told you are what do you tell essential in intensifying the crop production, and also it reduces the effect of the pest and the parasites on the farm animals also. It is very easily these all chemicals get washed into the streams and also infiltrates into the soil, eventually contaminating sometime ground water table. That is a bore and all you put no from the water you lift, that ground water table also sometime it get polluted. How it get polluted, that means the more chemical, the more fertilizers you go on using with liquid fertilizers, as I told you, it will sink down into the groundwater and it will contaminate. Again we are going to drink the same water. There are seeing in the two ways we are affected by the same agrochemicals. So that pH level may increase, salinity may increase. So they are also transported over sometimes by the long distance, which one, the chemicals which are being sprayed, right? the chemicals which are being sprayed on the crops also, when they are transported over a long distance by the wind, even it will pollute the air as such, and the surrounding animals also it may affect. So these are the few effects of the agrochemical waste as such. Okay, so next we will study one of the case study of the organic farming. Okay, so one of the case study of the organic farming here, the picture I have shown you, this is Ramesh Chandra Dagar. So the Ramesh Chandra Dagar, he was a farmer in Sonipat. Okay, he was a farmer in Sonipat of Haryana, and he was able successfully disproved the popularity held belief that small farm lands are unprofitable. In nowadays we tell no, the farmer did the suicide, he couldn't get the yield. So this fellow is, I can tell you, one of the example to tell such farmers, yes, within 1 acre of land also you can survive, you can do something. So he gives an a best example by introducing integrated organic farming. So what is this integrated organic farming means? It is a cyclical zero waste procedure. So he proves himself with the zero waste procedure with the 1 acre of the land, where waste products from one process are cycled and in as a nutrients for the other process. Okay, so within a 1 acre of land, how he connects so many types of agricultural farming into one process, and profit is more, but waste is zero. So this allows the utilization of the resource and increases the efficiency of the production. Here what he does, the Ramesh Chandra Dagar, he includes so many types of the agro farmings, that what we call it as integrated. Integrated means connected with the many process, we call it as a integrated. So with the use of integrated organic farming, he has been able to generate nearly average income of, you know how much, 10 lakh per year, it seems. From how much hectare? From only 1 hectare of land, he was able to earn a 10 lakh per year. So this is a information you have to give to the farmers who are having 1 acre of land, and or 2 acres of land, and feeling I cannot cultivate anything, or I need money. Without that, nothing happens. So your children or the citizens of our future India. So you have to take this step up, because we are surrounded by many villages, children. So this is a topic which initiates us to tell why we cannot do. Yes or no? So this story is literally an good effort to prove that farmers are need not to set back, telling with the loans and all. They can try this integrated organic farm. So Ramesh Chandra Dagar, that what I am telling now, with the 1 hectare of land, he has started with an income of 10 lakh per year, it seems. So he defines, you know, integrated organic farming as a farming that has merely mean not using any pesticide system. See, very good, no? But also involves other practices. Which are the practices he has included? Here also I have given, such as beekeeping, dairy management, water harvesting, composting, and agriculture in the integrated organic farming. So now I'll tell you how he connects one to each other. So here he tells like this: the water harvesting and composting as a chain process, which supports each other, it seems. So here what it does, the cattle dung. Okay, so we go one by one. Here I have shown a picture here. So this cattle dung which is there is used, this dung means it's ficus. It's a dung. It is been used as a water. It is used to the production of manure for crops. So how it is used in the manure of the crops? If you have a cattle field like this, so if this cattle field, this is a 1 hectare of land he is having. In this he has grown the some of the crops. The crops waste are used as organic cattle feed. The dung of these cattle are used as a manure. How it is used as a manure? They are put into the compost, in the preparation of the compost. So here you can see the dung of the animals is converted into the compost. See, it is converted into the compost. So this compost is used as a manure for the growth of the crops. So this is used as a manure for the growth of the crops. And also this organic farming, and also this organic whatever the waste which I have got from the field also, this waste which are got from the field also, and the waste from the cattle also, all this compost are being used in the preparation of the biogas. So when the biogas is there, that means electricity can be produced, fuel can be produced. Here you can see there is a electricity also is there for the water process. For the movement of the water, motors are to be on there also. They use this biogas are used in the to generate electricity to meet the energy requirement of the entire farm. Okay, this how. And beekeeping, so when there are crops with the flowers, this flowers, here he has grown the beekeeping means the honeybees he started to do the beekeeping in his field only. So here many crops, when they leave the flowers, immediately there is a collection of the honey is sold, honey wax is sold. So by honey wax also he means money. By the crops also he gets money. And electric charge is not there. Nowhere the waste is left. All the waste of each process is used in the another process. So this what we call it as integrated organic farming. So for water harvesting also, less of water is utilized here. Yes or no? So the water which is being fed to the plants, if it is overflowing also, it reaches a place, and is done well also, that where the water can be harvested, accumulated. So in this way, one process is waste is used in the another process. So nowhere there is any waste. That what we call it as a zero waste procedure, a cyclic zero waste process, where the waste products of one process are used as a raw materials for the other process. And Dagar says he follows a simple strategy to achieve this success. Before sowing a new crop, okay, he conducts a market survey to understand the demand. And only when there is 60% sure of getting the returns only, then he will take the risk. Same, whatever I feel like growing, he will not grow in that 2 hectare of land. So very intelligent he is. So he will come to know which crop has a more rate in that harvesting period. Okay, during that harvesting period, which crop may have the more rate, such crops he will select and he will put into his field. So in this way, he also does the management in selecting the crops and sowing them also. He will think to sow the particular crop for the better yield and to get a good amount of money. So we will create the Haryana Kishan Welfare Club. He was a person to create a Haryana Kishan Welfare Club, through which he will impart he will train many village people of the same Sonipet, in 2009, 4,000 farmers and agricultural scientists, government officials will come together in Sonipet to interact with him and also to learn about these things from each other, which turned out to be one of the largest organic information exchange mela citizens. So the club now presently, it tells it is there, he is having nearly 5,000 farmers as a members and as a branch officers in all districts itself. He presently experimenting now what he is doing after this integrated. So I told me he has become one of the best example for the integrated farming, organic farming. So this is started spreading his area, and also he visits other villages of the farmers, and he talks about this. Okay, so what is the advantages of Dagar's integrated organic farming? So here are the some of the advantages here. So this pictures shows you clear understanding of the Dagar's his process. So here you can see planting rows of the nitrogen fixing trees. You know what are nitrogen fixing trees? So when you fix some leguminous plants here, they will fix the nitrogen. So the leguminous plants means which the yield also we get, and it will fix the nitrogen to the soil. When the soil get fertilized, you can go for another crop also. So that is one thing you can know, and the soil erosion also becomes less when he started planting the trees also at the edge of his field itself. Then crop rotation, he started do intercropping system. Then water rearing the animals. So by the dairy management, he gets the milk also. Milk also he solds it, and also he breeds it, and he also sells the breed also. So and their waste also is not thrown. Those waste are used as a compost. When compost can be used in the production of the biogas, and also after extracting biogas, those waste are used as a manure for the crops. So this what we call it as a integrator. So let us know what is the advantage. First advantage. So your first one is they support each other and allow an economical and sustainable venture. No need of chemical fertilizers, as dung is used as a manure. Okay, so the dung is used as a manure, so there is no need of using any chemical fertilizer. So just now I told, when they start using the chemical fertilizer, that means again it affects the human being. Then a crop waste is used to create a compost. That is, I told, no, to generate the natural gas, and also for the electricity, that is electricity for the farm. So Dagar created Haryana Kisan Welfare Club. I told you, now there are nearly 5,000 farmers members in that club. Okay, to spread the information about the integrated organic farming. So the next topic is we are talking about is radioactive waste. So whenever we talk about the radioactive waste, what is the radioactive waste? What do you mean by that? Means they are the waste which emit radioactive particles or rays, and are the byproducts of the nuclear technology or nuclear power generation. Do you understand what is the radioactive waste means? They are the which emit radioactive particles or the rays, and they are the byproduct of what? Nuclear technology or nuclear power generation power plants. So from that, whatever waste comes out, it is not so very good, and those nuclear rays or the ions, if they are being enter the human body, it may cause mutation. It's very dangerous. Okay, so Hiroshima, Nagasaki bomb blast, you know, no, still we tell by that fission, that is nuclear, when they fuse together, the fission. Even today, you know, those ions are present in the their body. It seems which causes some mutation. They tell. So that is a nuclear bomb explosion, and how nuclei those nuclei are very dangerous. So that what I'm trying to tell. What is regarding radioactive waste. So depending upon the amount of the radioactivity, they are being classified into usually two types. Those two types in the textbook, it has mentioned as such. One is at a higher dose, one is at a lower dose. Okay, nuclear radiation causes mutation. What is mutation? Sudden change in the DNA or the gene or the chromosome. So that's what we call it as a mutation. It is very lethal at high doses, and in low doses means it may cause us a disorder such as a cancer. And there are nearly why this nuclear energy, it has two important problems. Accordingly, those two are also then an example for the radioactive waste. The first one is the accidental leakage. Okay, so this is a first problem. What it is? Accidental leakage. Example here they have given, see, 3 Mile Island incident and Chernobyl incident. So these were the two incidents. So the cause of incident was accidental leakage. One more is a safe disposable of the radioactive waste. So these are the two problems, main problems of the nuclear energy. Next is here. The use of nuclear energy has two main problems, as I told you. Here in this picture, we have shown these two examples. One is Chernobyl incident. Another one is 3 Mile Island incident. Now, what is this Chernobyl incident? How it occurs means, see, the Chernobyl incident accident, it was nearly in 1986. What was that means? It was the result of a flawed reactor design that was operated with the inadequately trained people. That is why. So they were not so very trained to operate this. The resulting steam explosion. Okay, the steam exploded, and as the explosion and the fires were released, and at least 5% of the radioactive reactor core exploded into the atmosphere and downwind it seems. So this was the incident of the Chernobyl. So that what I'm telling, no, the steam explosion and the fire started releasing of nearly how much, 5% of the radioactive reactor core. It blasted and that entered into the wind. But the plant, later Chernobyl plant workers died on the night in the spot itself, it seems, in that accident. And further nearly some 28 people died within a few weeks as a result of a acute radiation poisoning. See that when it after blasting, if they inhale that and it enters into the lungs also, no, so they cannot survive. So these nearly 28 people, after that poisoning entered into their through the nostril into the blood, they died later. So report says that apart from increased, it also increased for many of them thyroid cancer system. So there is no evidence of major public health here. But still, they tell nuclear waste or radioactive waste are so very dangerous. The people working in the nuclear power generation, nuclear power plants and all, it's very dangerous. Every ions which are, we call it as nanotechnology, which we cannot see through the eyes also. If it is entered, it is merely poison only. So that is one example, Chernobyl incident. The second one is 3 Mile Island incident. What is this 3 Mile means? It is also given the name as TMI-2. In short form, we tell it as 3 Mile Island Unit 2. So, nuclear power plant, it was near the middle town of Pennsylvania. On March 28 in 1979, it was the most serious in USA commercial power plant operating in history only. Even though it led to no deaths, no injury occurred, it seems. No death, no injury occurred to any plant workers or the members or nearby community people. But it brought about sweeping changes involving emergency response planning for the reactors, operators training, radiation protection, and many other areas of nuclear power plant operation. So here they tell nearly it also caused USA Nuclear Regularity Commission, that is NRC, to tighten and heighten its regularity overnight, resulting in the changes in the nuclear power industry. And NRC means, I told you, no, Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So anything happens usually other than India means so soon they will recover everything. Even in Japan, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, what a big big blast. It was it swiped out the people also with the territory only. But still, if we see the in the pictures or the people who have visited Japan, they tell, we don't find that this was a place which has been washed away. But still, those nuclear ions are that is radioactive waste are still present in that atmosphere. It is not so very safe over this. That place is not so very safe. So so very dangerous is this radioactive waste and all. So they should take a really most care in such nuclear power plants, and also for the disposable. Coming to the disposal, we'll talk about the second. This is a accidents example. That is accidental leakage. Here, this second serious problem is how to dispose it. So here they tell it is recommended to store the nuclear waste in a sealed container and buried within the rocks about, see how many meter depth, 500-meter deep below the earth surface. Can you see this picture? Okay, see here it is clay, this is gravel, see this is clay, gravel, cement, then a substrate, then here, see 5,000 meter down, here they will bury. Can you see this whole thing? See, this whole thing is what? Nuclear waste. This nuclear waste is buried here inside the rock in the earth surface. And this picture, but the public opposes this method. Of course, if it blasts down in the rock again, the water table may get polluted. No, that is also there, and it may cause earthquake also. So here also radioactive waste storage underground picture. This is one. But sometimes when I used to explain in the chalk and talk, these pictures and all, I never used to tell the kids. And that's what I tell your online also. It's not a wait. You are very lucky children to see the picture and understand real pictures. This is how it is. Okay, when I do chalk and talk, you should go for imagination or assume, or only in PPT classes only you can understand how the radioactive can be buried. So here picture only I am showing, this is a rock bed, and in this rock bed how they have buried the nuclear waste. So here this is the nuclear waste which is been packed with all this clay, gravel, cement and everything. Above is there, below you can see it is buried. Okay, so this is the second point, that is with second problem, that is disposable of the radioactive waste. Okay, I think so you have understood both the topic, children. See the video again and again, you will understand very clear. Okay, it's one of the important topic such as agrochemical effects and also radioactive waste. In this, I've explained the two incident, and first problem is accidental leakage, two example. Second one is how to dispose the radioactive waste. Both are two questions. Thank you, children. See you in the next video.